She stood frozen in the basement, watching the man she loved slowly stir a thick black paste into a vat of tomato sauce. He didn't see her. But what she saw that night would get her killed. Welcome to Through Crime, your portal into the most chilling true crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and the darkest corners of criminal history. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video, and if you are new here, do well to hit the subscribe button. We dig deep into the facts, uncover shocking twists, and explore the theories that keep investigators and the world on edge. Stay back and enjoy. For 10 years, Marco and Elena DeSanti were the golden couple of Chicago's culinary scene. He was a Michelin-starred chef, known for his signature sauces that left critics speechless. She was a food critic turned restaurant consultant, stunning, brilliant, and madly in love. Together, they built Le Fiammate, a boutique Italian restaurant that became a household name across the Midwest. Their love story was the kind people envied. High school sweethearts. No scandals. No drama. Just success and passion. Or so it seemed. But behind Marco's charming smile and god-tier risottos hid a secret so twisted, it cost Elena her life. It was a rainy Tuesday when it all began to fall apart. Elena had noticed odd behavior in Marco lately. He'd started locking the basement kitchen at Le Fiammate, a space they once freely shared. He worked late nights, long after service ended, and refused to explain why. The staff wasn't allowed down there. Deliveries were always accepted personally by him. The restaurant was making more money than ever, but something felt off. So that night, curiosity got the better of her. She stayed behind, hiding in the wine cellar until everyone left. Then, around 2:13 a.m., she heard the basement door creak open. Marco didn't turn on the main light. Just the small ones above the prep table. Elena crept downstairs. What she saw, it shattered her. Marco stood hunched over a metal prep table, wearing gloves and a mask. He was mixing something into the sauce, a fine gray powder and a black paste. She watched in horror as he labeled the batch, VIP orders only. Then he took notes in a leather-bound journal marked Ciclo. It wasn't until the smell hit her nose, not the herbs or tomatoes but a faint metallic rot, that she realized what it was. He was poisoning people. Slowly. Silently. Strategically. The substance was later confirmed to be a synthesized neurotoxin, disguised to enhance flavor but slowly attacking the consumer's nervous system over time. Long-term exposure would cause chronic fatigue, memory loss, and in some cases, organ failure. But it was addictive. Customers swore they couldn't get enough of Marco's food. Critics called it life-changing. Celebrities flew in for just one bite. And Marco? He bathed in praise. Accolades. Well, Elena didn't confront him right away. She backed away horrified and ran home. But Marco wasn't a fool. When he saw the small camera she'd accidentally knocked over in her panic, still recording, he knew. And he acted. The next morning, Marco called 911, sobbing that he'd found his wife stabbed in their kitchen. The knife still lay beside her, her blood soaking into the floorboards. The city mourned with him. News stations played clips of their happy moments on repeat. Marco was seen crying during interviews, clutching her photo like a grieving saint. But something didn't add up. Detectives initially suspected a robbery gone wrong. No signs of forced entry. Nothing stolen. But Elena's brother Luca, a cybercrime analyst, wasn't buying it. She texted him just 2 hours before her death. Luca, I saw something at the restaurant tonight. I need to talk to you. It's Marco. I'm scared. That message cracked the case open. Investigators pulled the security footage from Le Fiammate. It had been wiped, or so Marco thought. But Luca found backup servers stored on a cloud drive, auto-synced from the basement camera Elena had knocked over. The footage was damning. Marco's face. The mixture. The poison. Elena watching. And then later, Marco entering their home after midnight, with gloves on. The moment detectives confronted Marco with the footage, his composure shattered. He confessed, but not with remorse. "I had to do it," he said coldly. "She would have destroyed everything." In court, the trial drew nationwide attention. Victims came forward, some with devastating symptoms they'd attributed to aging or stress. The public turned viciously. Marco's empire crumbled. His awards were stripped. His restaurant shut down. He was sentenced to life without parole. But the horror didn't stop there. As investigators dug deeper, they found more disturbing details in Marco's private journal. Entries revealed he'd been testing different formulas for years, on specific customers. He called them subjects. Some names matched local influencers, celebrities, even food bloggers who'd mysteriously fallen ill over the years. But that wasn't the worst of it. A secret storage unit in his name contained over 100 vials of toxins, each labeled with dates, dosages, and victim profiles. There was even a folder marked Project Reply Kitchen. Inside were blueprints of franchised versions of lufayamate in different states. He was planning to expand the poisoning. Then came the biggest twist. DNA evidence found in the basement revealed something investigators hadn't expected. Trace biological material from a woman named Claudia Savini, Marco's ex-girlfriend from culinary school, presumed dead in a boating accident 15 years ago. But her name appeared several times in Marco's journal. "Claudia taught me how to make flavor speak. She was the first. The original recipe." Was Claudia ever really dead? Or was she his partner in the beginning? The case, once seemingly closed, now took on a terrifying new direction. Elena's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a warning. Sometimes evil wears the face of charm. And sometimes love blinds us to the darkest secrets hiding in plain sight. She died trying to stop a monster. And though justice came, the scars remain for everyone who ever tasted Marco DeSanti's food. Last week, a new restaurant quietly opened in a remote town in Oregon. The name? Fiametta Nuova. Same logo. Same decor. Same menu. And its chef? He's never been photographed. 6 months after Marco DeSanti was sentenced to life without parole, the world tried to move on. His restaurant empire was dismantled. Lawsuits poured in. And Elena DeSanti was buried with more questions than closure. Then came Fiametta Nuova. Hidden in the sleepy town of Creswell, Oregon, population 2,300, the restaurant didn't advertise. It didn't need to. Word spread fast. The sauce, people whispered. It's back. It opened under a new name, no affiliation to Marco officially, but the ambience, the plating, the aroma, it was unmistakable. Investigators thought it was a copycat, until they saw her. A tall woman, always covered. Long sleeves. Surgical gloves in the kitchen. And a mask. A sleek, matte black fireproof covering that hid her entire face except for piercing gray eyes. She never gave her full name. Just went by Chef C. But something about her presence sent chills down the spine of anyone who got too close. When a local food vlogger, Jason Moores, visited Fiametta Nuova, he posted a review that went viral. "This is the exact same food Marco DeSanti used to make. I swear. The flavor is too exact. I felt weird after eating it. Like euphoric. Then dead tired. I can't explain it. Something's not right." A week later, Jason collapsed during a live stream with blurred speech and a nosebleed. Doctors diagnosed him with early-onset neurological degradation. The FDA got involved. But by the time they arrived, Fiametta Nuova was empty. Kitchen stripped. Cameras disabled. No sign of Chef C. But she left behind one thing, a note taped to the basement door. You silenced him. But you didn't silence the recipe. The FBI reopened the case, this time digging deeper into Marco's journals. His references to Claudia, the mysterious culinary genius presumed dead, led them to an old college yearbook photo. Claudia Savini. Brilliant. Obsessive. She'd been Marco's girlfriend and lab partner in a private culinary experimental program that was later shut down for ethical violations. She disappeared after a boating accident in Lake Como, Italy. Presumed dead. Body never recovered. But DNA from Marco's crime scene and later from the Fiammata Nuova kitchen matched her. She was alive. Marco hadn't been acting alone all those years. He was the face. She was the formula. And she was still cooking. As investigators followed the trail, they found disturbing details in Cresswell. 5 locals who regularly dined at Fiammata Nuova reported memory loss and insomnia. 1 teenage kitchen assistant vanished 2 days before the restaurant shut down. A pharmacist across town had filed a police report about large purchases of synthetic chemicals, including nootropics, enhancers, and mild neurotoxins, by a woman matching Chef C's build. When they pulled CCTV footage from the pharmacy, the woman looked directly into the camera and winked. Meanwhile, Luca, Elena's brother, received an anonymous package at his doorstep in Chicago. Inside, a recipe book labeled Ciclo, Phase 2. A photo of Elena and Marco on their wedding day, with Claudia in the background, barely noticeable, her eyes locked on Marco. And a birth certificate. For a girl named Eva DeSanti Savini. Born in Italy. 2006. Elena had no children. So who was Eva? DNA confirmed it. Marco had a child with Claudia before he married Elena. A secret daughter. Hidden for nearly 2 decades. The deeper horror? One of the formulas in the new recipe book was labeled Eva's Blend. It wasn't just poison anymore. It was a legacy. Here's where the story takes a sharp turn. A year after Marco's incarceration, he was attacked in prison. Stabbed but not killed. The attacker? A former employee of Lou Fiammate. Marco survived barely. During recovery, he asked to speak with the FBI. He claimed Claudia was planning something bigger. She was always the one who thought small doses were too subtle, he said. She's not just cooking anymore. She's weaponizing it. You have no idea what she's capable of. He told agents about a shipment headed for a luxury cruise line catering to wealthy elites, featuring a full menu designed by Chef C. 3,000 guests. 1 tasting menu. The cruise ship, La Serena, was scheduled to set sail in 3 weeks. But then, something arrived at the FBI headquarters in a sleek black envelope. No sender. Just 2 words engraved on the front. Ciclo Completo. Inside was a handwritten note. Marco was sloppy. I'm not. Let the world taste truth. Chef C. The luxury cruise La Serena was billed as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Exclusive. Exquisite. Expensive. Only the ultra-elite could afford a ticket. A week-long journey across the Pacific, complete with onboard Michelin-level dining, private performances, and luxury beyond comprehension. It was also Chef C's next playground. The FBI, now racing against the clock, confirmed that Claudia Savini, aka Chef C, had signed on as the anonymous executive chef for the voyage under a new alias, Chiara Villano. All staff had signed strict NDAs. The kitchen team was handpicked by her. No one had access to the master ingredient list except her and her top sous chef. She controlled everything. Luca DeSanti, brother of the murdered Elena, was brought in as a consultant by the FBI. He warned agents, Claudia wasn't just dangerous, she was brilliant. This isn't about revenge, Lucas said. It's about evolution. She's building something that goes far beyond Marco. Ciclo was just the beginning. The FBI initiated Operation Last Flame, a covert infiltration. 2 agents were embedded as passengers. One as a kitchen intern. Their mission: identify the contamination source and prevent the mass poisoning before it was too late. But they underestimated her. The ship set sail on a bright Sunday morning. Passengers were welcomed with champagne, gold gift boxes, and a 5-course tasting menu designed to challenge your palate and unlock sensory euphoria. The menu included smoked duck ravioli with saffron foam, black garlic consommé, aged Parmesan gelato, flame-seared lamb with a crimson glaze, and a mysterious dessert simply called Dolce Nero. No one knew what was in it. No one cared. They ate. They applauded. They begged for more. And then, the symptoms began. It started on day 3. Small things. Disorientation. Vivid hallucinations. Sudden tremors. Short-term memory lapses. Some guests laughed it off, thinking it was part of the immersive luxury experience. Others panicked. The ship's medic was overwhelmed. The agent embedded in the kitchen, Agent Flores, sent a distress message to the FBI. There's something in the sauces. It's engineered. This isn't just poison. It's neurological reprogramming. In a hidden pantry beneath the main galley, Agent Flores found something chilling. A locked cabinet containing vials labeled with names. Passenger names. Each vial had notes next to them. Personality traits, medical histories, even DNA markers. Claudia wasn't just poisoning people, she was customizing it. Each guest was being psychologically manipulated through food. One dose didn't kill. It changed them. On day 5, Claudia made her first public appearance. Mask off. She stood center stage during the Dolce Nero dinner and addressed the elite crowd, politicians, celebrities, billionaires, who had paid for the ultimate experience. You are the tastemakers, she said. But you've never tasted truth. Tonight that changes. The dessert was served. A decadent black truffle mousse infused with a compound she called Lucida, a next-gen neuroagent that temporarily unlocked intense emotions while slowly degrading neurological resistance. The guests felt euphoric. Invincible. Some wept. Others laughed hysterically. Claudia smiled. And then locked the dining hall doors. Back at FBI headquarters, they received Flores' final transmission. We're too late. Lockdown has begun. She's not running. She's broadcasting. In the ship's theater, a live feed began playing to thousands of encrypted online viewers. A new generation of underground culinary extremists, followers of the Ciclo doctrine, were watching in real time. Claudia was teaching them, guiding them. The twist? From his prison hospital bed, Marco DeSanti made a call. To Luca. I was a monster, he said. But she's extinction in an apron. Stop her. Marco gave up a code, something only he and Claudia had shared during their early experiments. It was a chemical failsafe, a counteragent that destabilized Lucida when introduced at high heat. Luca passed the code to the FBI team. Flores and Agent Hart triggered the emergency sprinkler system in the dining hall's ceiling. But instead of water, they used the failsafe compound, infused into a steam gas. Guests began to collapse, but they weren't dying. They were waking up, screaming, confused, some violently ill. Claudia fled through the service shafts. Flores chased her. What happened next was never shown on the feed. 2 days later, La Serena was found docked near an unregistered private island. Most guests survived. Many remembered everything. Some didn't. But Claudia? Gone. Only her fireproof mask remained, sitting atop the kitchen's master stove. And beside it, A single handwritten recipe page. Next course, ciclo interno. For Eva. In a small cooking class in Venice, a quiet young woman stands in front of a small group of tourists. She teaches them how to make hand-cut pasta. Her eyes are gray. Her name tag reads Eva. And in her satchel is the original ciclo journal. The Venetian police arrived at the private villa with a single goal: contain the scene. But they were already too late. The 12 dinner guests were found scattered throughout the house, alive but barely functioning. No signs of poison. No signs of force. Yet every guest was mentally shattered. Most couldn't speak. A few mumbled incoherent phrases. One guest, international biotech mogul Renata Voss, clawed her eyes raw, screaming about seeing her past served cold. At the head of the table, Marco DeSanti's seat was empty. But beneath it was a syringe and a torn page from the ciclo journal. Luca, I didn't drug them. I awakened them. You still think justice is found in courtrooms. I serve it hot. When you're ready, meet me where it all began. Eva. Luca knew exactly where to go. Ciclo. The original restaurant Marco DeSanti opened with Elena a decade ago. Now abandoned, boarded up after Marco's arrest and Claudia's exposure, it had become a tomb of culinary nightmares. But Eva had returned. And she wasn't alone. Inside the decaying kitchen, Luca found the lights on. A table set for one. Soft piano music played, Clair de Lune. Eva stepped out of the shadows, wearing her mother's old white apron, now stained with saffron and blood. I didn't hurt them, she said softly. I just served their sins back to them. Luca stared at her. You're not God. She smiled. No. But I inherited 2 demons. And I'm feeding them. She opened a notebook, her notebook. Unlike the ciclo journal, this one was coldly clinical. Plain. Sure. Blood sugar controls mood. Memory alters metabolism. Truth ferments. She turned a page and showed Luca a photo. Elena. His sister. Eva's stepmother. Tape beside it? A child's drawing. A woman crying in a basement. A man holding a knife. A little girl watching. I was there that night, Eva whispered. When he killed her. My father. I watched from behind the spice rack. Eva wasn't just a culinary prodigy. She was a living experiment. Claudia and Marco had been testing early versions of Lucida on Eva since she was 6. That's why her brain chemistry was unlike anything scientists had seen. She wasn't just immune. She was evolving. Each meal I serve, Eva said, teaches me something new. About pain. About control. About guilt. She looked at Luca. And you? You still think I'm the villain? You are, he whispered. You've taken what they did and turned it into a crusade. Her eyes darkened. I'm not on a crusade. I'm on a mission. I'm giving people what they never gave themselves, closure. Eva handed Luca a black envelope. Inside were profiles. Names, faces, dossiers. Powerful people. Dangerous people. Every one of them connected to Marco, Claudia, or the pharmaceutical company that once funded their culinary experiments in secret. These are the ones who let it happen, Eva said. They used children. They funded poison. They buried the evidence. Luca looked up. You want me to help you? No, she said. I want you to choose. Join me, or stop me. Then she left. No threats. No violence. Just that same haunting line. Dinner's always best, when you know the chef. In London, a prestigious wellness retreat shut down after a transformational food experience led to 7 hospitalizations, all showing symptoms identical to Lucida exposure. In Japan, a secret underground dinner club, known only by an ash symbol, was raided. No one was found. Just empty plates and a note that read, "We digest the truth." In Sao Paulo, a Michelin reviewer collapsed after writing that a mysterious pop-up chef is redefining consciousness with taste. Interpol knew. Eva was expanding. She had disciples now. And each meal was a message. Lucas sat alone in his apartment. On his kitchen table, the black envelope, his FBI badge, and a dinner invite signed only with a symbol, Hot Springs. He knew what it meant. A private train ride to a mountain lodge in Switzerland. 12 guests. One chef. No phones. No way out until the final course. Eva's next table. And possibly her last. Luca held the invite, trembling. If he goes, he might stop her. If he doesn't, no one will. He looked out the window at the falling snow. Then whispered, "Forgive me, Elena," and began to pack. Marco DeSanti didn't speak much on the ride up the Swiss Alps. 12 guests had boarded the private train under aliases, dressed in luxury, masks covering secrets. Everyone had received the same invite, same symbol, Hot Springs. No one knew who had sent it. But everyone knew why they were there. Whispers circled the dining car. "It's her. Eva. The girl chef from Venice. The one who cooks your soul." No one admitted it out loud, but each guest carried guilt. Real guilt. Corporate scandals, medical cover-ups, ruined lives. Each of them had dined on the profits of pain. And tonight Eva was serving the bill. The train arrived at a remote mountain lodge buried in snow. No roads. No Wi-Fi. No escape. Inside, the dining hall was breathtaking. Obsidian floors, blood-red tablecloths, and a glowing salt line surrounding the perimeter of the room. A salt line. The old ritual to keep demons at bay. Or maybe, keep them in. At the head of the table stood Eva. No apron. No gloves. Just black. Simple. Silent. Her eyes met Lucas. He nodded. She nodded back. It had begun. A warm consommé infused with marrow and memory. With each sip, guests began to feel waves of old emotions. First betrayals, childhood trauma, suppressed confessions. One guest, a former pharmaceutical exec, sobbed uncontrollably, clutching a necklace belonging to a woman he'd wronged. Eva spoke calmly. "Truth begins where appetite ends." A perfectly plated dish of poached tongue and edible mercury leaf. Midway through the course, the politician among them blurted out a secret government bioexperiment tied to Eva's parents. Another guest vomited on the table, overcome with panic and shame. Luca watched, taking mental notes. His gun was strapped to his ankle. But he hadn't moved. Not yet. Red wine sorbet, paired with freeze-dried heart chips. Eva stood as this course was served. She told the story of her mother. Of the experiments. The betrayals. The silence. You turn people into numbers. My father into a butcher. My mother into a ghost. And me, into the storm you now taste. One man collapsed. Another screamed, "What do you want from us?" Eva leaned in. "To remember. Before I let you forget." Suddenly Lucas stood. Gun drawn. Shaking. "Eva. That's enough." She didn't flinch. Didn't blink. "You came to stop me, Luca? Or join me?" "I came to end this. For Elena. For the victims. You're not justice. You're just another monster behind a pretty plate." Eva nodded slowly. Then stepped outside the salt line. And said, "Then shoot me." The room froze. The guests stared. Some desperate for salvation. Others craving absolution. Luca hesitated. Sweat beading down his face. "You kill me," Eva said, "and the final course dies with me. You'll never know the truth behind what Marco started. Or what you helped cover up." His finger tensed. "Or she said softer, you let me serve the final plate. And justice is done, in full. Eva returned to the head of the table. A platter of small, translucent pills was served, labeled only as closure. Luca demanded to know what was inside. Eva said, it's not poison. It's memory. Yours. Distilled. Real. Unedited. She offered one to him. Face your past, Luca. Then decide who the villain really is. Luca took the pill. Swallowed. Moments later, everything changed. He saw the night Elena was killed. He remembered intercepting an early warning report about Marco's behavioral instability, and ignoring it. He remembered Elena's final call, begging for help, that he never answered. He had failed her. He had always known. And Eva knew he had to live with that. When the guests awoke the next morning, they were alone. No Eva. No trace of the meal. Only empty chairs and salt scattered across the floor. Luca found a handwritten note tucked under his plate. Justice isn't about courtrooms. It's about consequence. If you want to find me again, don't bring a badge. Bring hunger. Eva. A viral underground food movement sweeps through Asia and South America. Secret supper clubs. Anonymous chefs. Menus designed to unlock the subconscious. Some say it's therapy. Some say it's revenge. All of it leads back to Eva. Interpol can't find her. Governments deny her existence. But people whisper her name like a myth. The girl who feeds guilt. The chef who cooks confessions. The daughter of the dead, who serves the living their truth. Luca now runs a small food truck in New York City. No badge. No gun. Just simple meals. He calls it Elena's Table. One night, a girl steps up to the window. Silent. Piercing green eyes. She orders soup. Leaves a $100 tip. And a salt shaker. When Luca looks back up, she's gone. But he already knows. She's watching. And she's not done.